All right. Welcome in. It is not Saturday morning, but it's one of the best weeks of the year. So we got to be coming at you 2 times this week to make sure we got you covered because we know you're going to be sharing out the winners with your aunts and uncles and the family on Thanksgiving. So make sure you let them know what's up for the Egg Bowl and all the Friday winners so they can tap in on Saturday morning because we got you covered. Doesn't matter when you're tapping in this week as long as it's before Friday. Too many good games. Need all of the action covered by all of us here. As Goose said, we got a full house thanks to him showing back up, but he's well rested, ready to catch some dubs, all powered by Daily Bread Media. Catch us on Twitter at Paid for Play, live on our usual YouTube channel. Nice little night action episode. We got to go to you first, Goose. How we feeling?
I'm well rested. That's right. I missed the last 2 weeks. I'm happy to be back, and I really like this Friday slate. Yeah, I mean, I don't got to talk about Rutgers, so I'm thriving, and I got a little preview shirt on.
Okay.
Roddy? I mean, so Sam's probably feeling the best, but eking out a dub over UK. How we feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling great as ever. I know a lot of people want to put UK in the mud. Obviously, they've looked horrible down the stretch, but they do still match up very well with us, and they have a lot of great weapons that are gonna be NFL caliber talent. So I wasn't shocked, especially in these cold weather games. I'm just looking for Kirby to just get over the hump, basically just get to the SEC championship as healthy as possible, and without as many cards on the table as possible as well. So I'm cool, man. It's just UK, but I want to annihilate the nerds this week still. So
Yeah, Nerds coming off a high, but if you hear JD reacting, he's sweating the maction. How we feeling? It ain't night yet, but it's almost there on the West Coast.
This Miami quarterback cannot play. He just threw a pretty terrible pick, and but Ohio's scoring touchdowns, so that's cool. This dude
Miami of Ohio,
play.
by the way, not the Hurricanes. Miami of Ohio. For all
I don't know who's got the worst quarterback at this point.
Oh man,
Sam, I see you do it. The number 5. I see all the USC versus LSU, which is great for all the casuals on Twitter and no one who's in that fan base to watch I don't know what you want to call it, the fight over who's more deserving to make it there when neither team probably will. How we feeling?
yeah, Tennessee was more of an actual opponent to argue with on Twitter. USC fans, I don't even know that too many of them exist on Twitter. They're all just like the celebrities out in LA, But we're a little under the weather. Hate's going to get flown by the end of the week for Texas A&M, but just kind of I'm a little low energy today, so I'm going to try to ramp it up for you.
I was about to say it's tough when none of your punching bags are sitting out there to be talking about this slate. But like we said, we're live on Twitter. If you're catching us there, jump over to the YouTube channel if you want to drop some questions, best bets. Let us know what game you're sweating, even if it's college hoops. Because in about 3 weeks, this channel turns over to Spin and me and whoever else we bring on for Saturdays for the college hoops action. How many games we got on the slate? 5 for today, plus all of our best bets for all the action before Saturday. Always got to start it off with the traditional Egg Bowl matchup Thursday night. If you can somehow convince your family to turn off whatever NFL game, that's kind of even the more fun challenge of trying to convince them to put this on, and then chaos just assumes one's on. But Jay, what do you like here? Because rumor mill of flying, neither defense looks like it stands up well against each other, but somehow this game always stays close and under. What do you like here?
It has been staying close and under lately. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. So first off, the Egg Bowl's awesome. Okay, it's awesome even before you get into the coaches. Now we have the most awesome coaches we've ever had in Egg Bowl history going against each other. So that's cool. It's a fun matchup. Why? Because I think this is strength on strength when Ole Miss has the ball. Okay, Mississippi State's defense is pretty good. Ole Miss can move the ball. Mississippi State hasn't really been good stopping the rush, and that's weird because they've been pretty good at that the last 2 years. 87th in EPA per rush, 117th in rushing explosiveness. So I don't think they're going to stop Judkins and company in this one. Even Zach Evans, we saw get back on the field last week. I think he's going to play in this one as well. When Mississippi State has the ball, it's kind of weakness on weakness, right? We've been talking about Ole Miss's defense for long enough. We saw what they did last week against Arkansas, so they're not good. I think Mississippi State should be able to score on them. I do like the points here. Overall, when I'm looking at a side as well, if you go back and look through Ole Miss's resume so far this season, I think their best win all season is Troy in the opener. I think that's their best win. I dare you go look the teams they've beaten. Okay, Troy, Central Arkansas. Ooh, the Nerds, Roddy, to beat the Nerds. Tulsa, okay. And then you look at the wins they have in the SEC. It's all the bottom of the barrel. They beat Kentucky. Okay, cool. Vanderbilt, Auburn, A&M. So I don't know what the best team they've beaten all year. Kentucky, Troy. I think Troy's better than Kentucky, to be perfectly honest with you. Every team they've played that's had a pulse they've lost to. Mississippi State hasn't really looked great, but this is a rivalry, and I definitely do think they have a pulse. They have an experienced quarterback, yada, yada, yada. So I'm kind of leaning towards Mississippi State here. I'll probably have a bet come Thanksgiving for sure.
Sam, I know you want to get into the rumor mill here. Does that give Miss State a leg up and make them a hungry dog?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to think about this one. I mean, just with like Lane going back and forth with this reporter, like just like he is basically just laying it all out. Like I don't know that he officially denied it, but I mean, he was just going back and forth with this reporter. It's got to be kind of a distraction for the team whenever like they all came here for Lane to play in Lane's offense, and after most of these guys transfer in the first year, there's a rumor that he's going to be gone before they even get to a bowl game. JD's right. They haven't really beat anybody with a pulse all season. And the Arkansas game, like, surprised me last week. I thought it would, even if they lost that game, I did not think it was going to be a bloodbath the way it was. So I don't know. I don't really know. I've been going back and forth on this one, and the Lane news last night completely threw me off. With it being so close, under a field goal, I could see Ole Miss maybe squeaking one out as a get one last one for Lane in the Egg Bowl before he could leave. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm leaning more Ole Miss just because of that Mississippi State defense. They've looked poor against the run all year, and I think Ole Miss just going to try to run it down their throat.
I mean, Ole Miss, kind of to your point, looked like they already gave up last week big time, especially against Arkansas, which is my biggest concern here because how many transfers do they have on their roster this year? Ole Miss, a shit ton, right?
It's like half their starting lineup on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Do they care about the Egg Bowl? Do they know what the Egg Bowl is? They probably heard about it like probably a week ago because they ain't from Mississippi.
I find it hard to believe that Jackson Dart is like living and dying over the Egg Bowl.
No.
They've just seen the pissing memes. That's what the Egg Bowl is to them. They've just seen the pissing memes. That's it.
All right, get back to the X's and O's. Roddy, what do you got here in this game? Because we're all going to have action Thursday night. We can't lie about this one. The rest of the games, we may not. We all know if you're a college football guy, you're betting this instead of the Vikings versus the Pats.
Come on, bro.
Or both.
Nobody wants to watch Patriots football, first of all, willingly. But I want to just piggyback off of what JD was saying as we were going through the schedule. Let's keep going through it. Tulsa, 27 points. Kentucky looks dead in the water, so we'll skip them. Vandy, 28 points. Auburn, 34 points. LSU, 45 points. Texas A&M, who hasn't had a quarterback all year, 28 points. Alabama, 30 points. Arkansas, 42 points. So I can't trust this defense for anything. And I know that Mississippi State's defense has also looked very dead throughout the year, but I think these are two offenses that finally are going to get our over this year. So I got the over 59. I again, like Sam said, sidewise, like I would not touch this with anything. And it's just because both of these teams have been extremely inconsistent on the defensive end. You kind of know what you're going to get offensively, but it's just a matter of whose offense is better. But in terms of the Lane thing, I really do think that Lane probably should stay one year. I know Auburn is a really good looking job, and I know Ole Miss just finally like beat Auburn for the first time in like 8 years. But I would stay, man. I think he can still build something respectable at Ole Miss and potentially get something bigger down the line. But the only play that I have is the over here. Like I would not do anything else.
Goose, to wrap it up before I give out my play, we have to wait to mention this topic for you. Like most egg bowls, it looks like it's gonna rain. Does that have any does that have any factor into your side? According to the weather report check I just did a minute ago.
So I was keying in on Mississippi State defense isn't the best, but they're very opportunistic. They're averaging 1.7 takeaways, which is 28th in the nation per game. So I think that this Ole Miss team, their running game, I feel like, has been a little off the tracks. So they're gonna have to throw it a little. And Mississippi State is gonna find an interception there somewhere, steal a possession. I also think that just like you guys were saying, with all these transfers, all these guys in like 2 weeks are gonna be looking for their next school to play once Lane leaves. This transfer portal is gonna be crazy this year. It's gonna be the most wild transfer portal we've ever seen. Honestly, like 15 Ole Miss guys might be in the portal a week after the season, with all this news of their coach maybe leaving. So I think this whole game is a big distraction for Ole Miss. I think Mississippi State's gonna steal a possession or two, and I got Mississippi State winning the game. I just think they're the more focused team. They want to play this rivalry. Ole Miss doesn't have the Mississippi culture. Everyone just came together pretty much this year. So this is just a normal game to them, and I think Ole Miss puts a nail in the coffin, Mississippi State puts a nail in the coffin in Ole Miss season.
Well, Goose, you almost hit on a completely different topic that we might have to have a podcast on, because this transfer portal is going to be the craziest. Other than to your fact, everyone can get NIL now if they transfer, and they didn't get it when they entered college. So that might be a little bit bigger of an incentive for most players to leave. But here, I'd be all over Miss State if I just think Lane got one last thing in them. The bowl game, I think, might be a wash. So get 2 points with Ole Miss here at home. I just think after last week, after getting embarrassed like they would, I don't think they go out on home field like this. Bowl game, I think, is a completely different story. I think Lane gets them up for one last week, especially if he wants to get feeling at least a little bit better leaving the program. Next game we got on the board here. Baylor had a few rivalry games back-to-back here because you see how much that TCU game means to them. Are they going to have anything left in the tank at this point? Almost creeping double digits. A Friday noon game. Nothing better than that. Roddy, he was your quarterback. Is he still your quarterback?
My quarterback? Oh, no, he's not my quarterback. Not yet. That's why I have cause for pause to take Texas in this game. You asked the question, does Baylor have anything left? Does Texas have anything left? Like the TCU game kind of showed me it's like, yeah, you guys had a great opportunity to ruin somebody else's season, and you kind of just stunk the whole game. Like, so I don't really know what this is like. One of the craziest falls from graces I think we've seen in a while, where Texas was damn near, making arguments to be in the playoff if they would have been undefeated coming up to that TCU game, to like having mind-boggling losses. But I do think that, even though I didn't love how Baylor ended that game, I thought they kind of played to not lose. I do think that, again, Texas has not shown me anything over the last couple of weeks, other than last week when they murdered Kansas, that they're just, 9 points better than a Baylor team who's been competitive pretty much in all their games this year. So I'm taking the Bears +9. It's not an official play, But it's something that I really do feel strongly about, just because, again, Texas has been just
Well, Texas needed to revenge that loss to Kansas last year. I think that's where you saw the little extra beatdown. They were tired of seeing that meme and all those jokes on Twitter there.
Yeah.
Just because they won this year, the jokes don't stop.
Never.
Yeah.
Never will.
Sarkisian's even 500 against Kansas.
It's a good sell for
Chugging,
Jimbo
baby.
to use if he's still at A&M. Goose, what do you like in this one?
So I'm gonna be rocking with Baylor as well. Quinn Ewers over his last 4 games, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 47 completion percentage. I know the offense runs through their running back Bijan Robinson, but Quinn Ewers is kind of going through a little struggle right now. He's a young quarterback. I'm a big fan of his. I think he'll be the real deal, but he's only a freshman. I think the way Baylor plays, so time of possession can be a misleading stat, but I did see that Baylor is top 20 in the nation in time of possession and Texas is bottom 20. So I think Baylor's just going to have the ball the whole time, and then the young quarterback, Ewers, is going to try too hard to make a play because he's going to be sitting on the sidelines too often. When he tries to make a play, bad things will happen. Baylor, I think, will keep this close. I could even see them winning it. The way Baylor plays, they have an average run defense, so I think they'll, Bijan Robinson won't go for 250 like how he did last week.
Sam, are you going to be on the Texas hate train this week, or are you riding with Baylor or staying away?
I think I'm going to ride with Baylor here just because of how they've been able to muck up some of these games. I mean, outside of the Kansas State game, like Roddy said, all their games have really been close and they've been able to stay within like single digits. And Texas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're out of the Big 12 championship.
Oh, yeah, they're in 3rd place.
Okay,
They can make it with the Kansas State loss if Texas wins and Kansas State loses.
Okay. Well,
they play Kansas, a decent game. So
yeah, but it's at home. I think Kansas State's gonna be able to pull that one out. So effectively, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot to play for. I mean, I think they're kind of turning the page next year. They got a great recruiting class coming in. But I do think they want to finish the year strong. I think they'll try to win this game, but I think Baylor's able to muck it up enough to keep it within single digits and keep it under that 9 points.
JD, what do you like in here? Because I don't like shit, to be honest.
I don't either. I was about to say I got to play for every single one of these games except this one. So I'll just say what I say every week. The numbers are going to love Texas every week. Okay, they're a good football team. They've really improved, but why don't they get the job done like they should? Well, you can name a lot of reasons, but it starts with the head coach, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't trust Steve Sarkisian at all. Don't trust him at all. I don't trust Quinn Ewers at all. I understand he's got a lot of arm talent, and that's why everyone's hyped up. I was hyped up for him, but that arm talent's done nothing. He's one of the lowest graded quarterbacks in the entire country on deep passes. That's where Xavier Worthy excels. It's just not clicking. He's not completing short passes, intermediate passes, long passes. He's playing terrible, and he's played terrible in the wind before. People have used that excuse. 17-mile-an-hour winds in the forecast for this one. So I don't know what to say. Texas should run it up here. They should run it up every week, and they rarely ever do unless they're playing a Kansas revenge game, which is pathetic that you have to have a Kansas revenge game. So I don't know. Steve Sarkisian, he's calling this one Texas's. He's calling it a playoff atmosphere because they technically can still make the Big 12 championship, whereas Baylor, they're 6-5. Already reached a bowl, don't have much to play for. Disappointing season, right? Coming off, the Big 12 championship to then be 6-5. So it should be a huge motivation edge for Texas. But Steve Sarkisian, you're going to give him the motivation edge over a Dave Aranda coach team. Something feels weird about that to me. So this is just me talking myself off making a Texas bet because the numbers are going to say do it every week.
I feel like Texas is known to like since they've been playing in this Friday spot after Thanksgiving, like all their games have just been gross and they've either lost them outright or they've come down to the wire and are super close. So I do like that spot also coming off the holiday.
This is also a spot where I think Texas's defense really can assert their dominance many times. This is one where they should actually limit the score here and they can easily determine this team to go under. Because I just can't trust Baylor's offense at this point. Sure, they came back alive against TCU out of nowhere, but it wasn't too consistent, especially late when you want to see it. And then the 3-piece at home against K-State. I don't know if I just can't get that one out of my brain too hard, but this is a spot here where I do not like Baylor. So if you had to force me to make a play in this one, I'd probably rock with the Baylor team total under here if you made me make a play. Third game on the slate before we rattle off all our best bets before the weekend. So make sure to like, retweet, subscribe. You got plenty of time to be locking these in. You know we're rocking the wave here on the money line at plus 110. I mean, I guess you can make this argument both ways. Has Cincy even played a football team this year?
Yeah, how are they ranked? That was going to be my first question. I guess. I don't know. Maybe off the strength of being in the playoff last year, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, I guess they did have the Arkansas game to start the season. But past that, the Wave, they can play themselves into the AAC championship. They can get themselves to the New Year's Six Bowl. Give me it. We rocked the Wave shirt a few weeks ago. They couldn't pull it out against UCF. I got them on the money line, plus 110. Sam, you're shaking your head. Are you rocking with the Bearcats here?
Strictly out of like needing a bet to get through my having to work on Friday. I mean, this game's going to be on our TVs in the office, so I'm going to have to throw something on it. Yeah, I haven't watched Cincinnati since the Arkansas game to start the year. So, I mean, I just know Louisiana teams don't really fare too well for an 11 a.m. local kickoff in a cold Cincinnati. So, yeah, I just think it's going to be an ugly game. So, yeah, I am going to rock the -2 just because it's a small spread, and I think it's going to be close throughout, and Cincinnati might pull it off. So this is strictly out of – I have no, like, rhyme or reason for this. But, yeah, we're just going to have a bet to have a bet.
Yep. Other than the Temple game last week, all the conference games stayed within 10 points, if not within 5 or 6 points. JD, who do you like here?
I'm going to be a little cautious with Tulane just because the last time I trusted Tulane, they made me look pretty foolish against UCF. That being said, I think they're the better team. I don't trust Cincinnati. I just don't trust Cincinnati whatsoever. I didn't trust them in the first place. Like you said, they haven't really beaten anybody. They've clearly taken a step back from last year. So kudos to them for even getting to this point, given the amount of NFL talent you lose at a program like Cincinnati. That's not easy to reload. So credit to Luke Fickell, great coach. All that being said, don't trust them. The quarterback, Ben Bryant, who is already the second best quarterback in this game, probably third best quarterback. I think his backup, Evan Prater's better. But anyway, we'll call him second best to be nice. He's a game time decision. He's got a pretty bad foot injury. I don't think he's great to begin with. And now you got a foot injury. I don't like that. I don't trust the offense to move the ball here. They're 112th in standard down success rate, which is like terrible. They're bottom 20 in that. So how have they managed to win games with that being the case? They find a bunch of explosive plays, mainly Tyler Scott, the wide receiver in the passing game. You can find those explosive plays against bad teams. Can you find it with a banged up quarterback who might not even play? Can you find it against the Tulane defense? That's what they do. They're very good. They have some pretty good athletes, great linebacking core. Their safeties. I don't think they're going to give up these slants for 90-yard touchdowns. So hopefully that doesn't happen first game. I'm going to look like an idiot, but they're 13th against explosiveness this season. So it seems like they should be able to shut down what Cincinnati does well. And I think Cincinnati, kudos to them for getting to this point, but I think it's Tulane's year.
You think Fickell will ever leave? JD?
Better not.
I was hoping he would leave for Notre Dame last offseason, and that didn't happen. So,
all right, we won't get
a while.
there. We see Sosa's in the comments. We'll shut that comment down real quick. Goose, what do you like in the AAC matchup? And then we'll get to you, Roddy.
So JD was talking about the Cincinnati offense, and over the last four weeks, they're averaging 2.7 yards per carry. So they're not even running it well either. They're not running it well. They're not throwing it well. Their quarterback might be out. But I'm not on a side. I'm actually on the under. You know, Cincinnati's punter averaging 47 yards a punt. That's third best in the nation. So Cincinnati is going to run the ball, but get into some 3-and-outs, and then he's going to boom a punt. And now Tulane's going to have to go in the cold at 11 a.m. long fields, which is going to be hard for them. So my favorite play is on the under 46.5, I think, 47. Yeah, I really like these both defenses, and the Cincinnati punter, he's a guy to look out for. But I will say one thing. The winner of this goes to the AAC championship game. Cincinnati's leaving the AAC after this season. So Tinfoil Hat says that the refs are going to rock with Tulane just to make sure that the AAC gets some good representation. So maybe I want to parlay, Tulane money line and the under.
It's time. It's finally time someone speaks up about this. The refs have been helping Tulane win games for way too long.
Have
Such
they?
favoritism.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know.
Damn,
World
so
Cup
to
is
beat
going
me-
on.
Sosa beat me to the comment because I was going to say Goose 100% every Sunday morning loads up the best stat website, prints it out, throws it on the fridge, throws it on the back of his phone case or something just so he needs it.
Not
Look
even
at
It's
Rex.
just the top 20 punting stats.
He had to email PFF to tell them to start putting punt stats on the website. That's how you know he's dedicated.
Bro. Oh, man.
Gotta grind it, man. We always respect the grind. Punters mean a lot, especially in college football, because boy, oh boy, you bet on a team with a bad punter, you know his name real quick. Roddy,
Yep.
what do you like here?
Yep. Look, man, I'm with you, Rex. I'm kind of feeling like the wave is gonna be riding, baby. I don't know. Like it's gonna be apparently it's gonna be raining in this game too. So it's gonna be very ugly. I can't even see it.
We
My
can't see
Blaze.
shit,
Oh, there
Goose.
we go. There we
punt
go. Now it's
stats.
focused.
Michigan State's better than your punter.
Michigan State's at the top of a leaderboard. That's how you know that's useless.
Hey man, look, that's why I'm saying. That's why you had to put the stats on there. That's why I'm glad you emailed them, Goose. Good looking out for you. But yeah, man, I agree with what Goose said. I just can't see Cincinnati's offense being potent at all. They haven't put up a strong offensive output. I was looking through their schedule to see since I would say, I guess 45 points against Indiana is a really strong output. I don't know. Like it's just a crapshoot with this game, but I would be inclined to rock with Tulane. They've had a great season. Really only had one real misstep. So like y'all said, they want a good representative. They want to, make this game interesting. So
My
give me
Goldfish
Tulane money
brain
line too.
didn't really help me out on that one because I stayed off my fade SMU train because this isn't trying to buy Tulane stock after just doubling up SMU. SMU's been a dead pony walking for a while at this point. So that's just where I hope whoever put it out there, the tinfoil hat theory from Goose, that one ends up coming through here. We got to see Tulane in the New Year's Six Bowl, especially for the coach. He'll get the boys hyped up in the cold. No doubt about that. What is this dumb rivalry called? The Territorial Cup or some shit like that?
I don't know. It's like I forgot, bro. It's one of the more mid ones in North Carolina. It's not interesting.
I think it's the Territorial Cup. But the Nerds, Roddy, took down UNC. I knew you had that game up on the main screen last week.
Yeah, like what the fuck? I was kind of confused because I keep hearing about Drake May. Drake May is going to be top 5. Drake May is going to be top 5. And you let the Nerds stifle you? Not a good look, buddy. Not a good look. But in terms of the
State coming off a real rough appearance, not even getting Malik Cunningham in that Louisville game.
Yeah, and this one, I have absolutely nothing for this one. This was my one where I just look at it and everything is gross. I haven't liked, other than that week we picked Miami just purely off of the fact that they had to beat the Nerds. I don't like any of these ACC teams this year. I think this has probably been one of the worst years in the last. Obviously you had Trevor Lawrence, you had Deshaun, so you had great quarterbacks at least, but it's just been a shit show in this conference all year. So I have absolutely nothing. If I had to lean anything, it would be NC State 6.5. Just losing to the Nerds by any form, fashion, or facet makes me not trust you at all.
JD, or anyone else, talk me off this over here because this is the UNC total on the board. I think it was 57.5 when they played Virginia Tech, but past that, I don't think they've had one at this number. They let any team find offensive rhythm, regardless of what string quarterback it is. How does this game not go over 56 with these?
Yeah.
That's my play, minus 110. I got to rock the over here. The UNC defense has cashed this too many times not to. NC State, they'll get up for this one. The only way I see this one cashing the over is if NC State runs and averages 6 minutes of possession. But still, if you're doing that, they're going to be ending in the end zone each time. So that's kind of where I like this over 56 minus 110.
Who's
Goose,
quarterback?
what do you got
for
here?
I'm wondering who's quarterbacking for NC State
It really
because
doesn't matter against a North Carolina defense.
I could be out there, my boy.
they've had 4 quarterbacks play this year. It's just they've had so many injuries throughout the whole year. I think they're cooked pretty much. They're coming off back-to-back losses. I was actually looking at North Carolina for a big bounce back. I think we could. I know the NC State defense is really good, but I can see Drake May bouncing back after that embarrassing loss, getting us 4 or 5 passing touchdowns. And I just don't think NC State has the offense. I know this UNC defense is so bad, but I still don't think NC State has the offense to put up that many points against UNC. So I was keying in on a big UNC bounce back.
I like it. JD, what do you like here?
I'm actually looking the other way. I think I'm going to have a play on NC State here. And I know it feels gross. Sometimes the gross bets are just the ones you kind of have to make. And I got nothing to say to defend their play lately because, like, they lost to Boston College. Yeah. I don't know who's going to be quarterbacking. This MJ Morris kid, the freshman, I hope he's quarterbacking. Like Rex said, it may not matter against this UNC defense, and that's what's really important to me. But he was out last week, and he's actually was playing pretty well. He threw 6 touchdowns in his first 2 games. The guys behind him just can't throw the ball. But that being said, I don't like the spot for North Carolina at all. Okay, so I think there's a huge motivation side on NC State here. North Carolina already has the ACC championship game locked up. They already had it locked up last week. I think that's one reason you saw them have such a dud. Drake May's first bad game. Okay, Josh Downs, the first game where he does nothing. He actually was injured in that game. Is it a coincidence that they just randomly had a bad game against a bad team? I don't think so. There's no motivation to win that game. There's no motivation to win this game. Sure, it's a rivalry, but like NC State, that's a proud team, man. Like they had high hopes going into this year, and it hasn't really gone the way they're supposed to. But they still play a really good defense. I mean, they have 5 times the defense North Carolina does. So anytime I get the better defense in a rivalry game, anyway, I'm looking towards the points, and I think we have that here. And like I said, can I trust them to score points? I mean, I think I could trust a high school team to score points against North Carolina. So I think I'm going to end up with a play on NC State here.
Sam, what do you like to wrap it up?
I'm probably leaning the over with you, Rex, but I am going to play North Carolina. I know. I mean, it's this keeps it. This line keeps it within a touchdown. I know it's going to be hard to trust NC's defense all day with a spread like that. But still, I think with Hendon Hooker's injury, they're just going to try to fill the stat sheet with Drake May, just get him as best a shot as possible, even though he really doesn't have a shot at the Heisman, but still just keep padding the stats, try to build on the campaign for next year. But yeah, I do like I think North Carolina is going to be able to score points. I know the defense is bad for North Carolina also, but NC State's offense has just looked putrid all year, and it's understandable with all the injuries that they've sustained. So give me North Carolina. I guess I'm going opposite of you all Friday.
Oh, at least someone will be winning. Okay. And to wrap it up, whew, boy, oh boy, so glad I don't have to sweat this one for the win total. But with what the spread's at, guess it was an easy buyout spot. So if you tuned in week 0 and you've been rocking with us all season, we appreciate you big time here. JD, season of the game of the line years. There's no way you remember this one off the top of your head, but I know Florida was not a 10-point underdog. I can guarantee you that.
I guarantee you as well. I don't remember because I didn't care about the game then, and I don't really care about it now. So, not to poo-poo it, but yeah, I don't remember.
There we go, baby. There we go.
JD's awake this Friday or this Tuesday.
Hey, man, two homeless
it's
men fighting
fucking
in the
the
street
first
bowl.
stream that's not before 9 a.m. his time in a long ass time if ever. But Florida, 9.5. Boy, oh boy. The SEC nerds made Richardson look one-dimensional big time, which is not a good thing. Where Florida State, do we have to maybe start putting some respect on their name, especially if they end up covering the spread, ending the season the way they did with that huge marquee win over a potential playoff team in LSU? Sam, I had to set that one up. Let me hear it.
It's fine. I mean that if LSU steals that game somehow, they would have just lost another game. It's like if you steal that game somehow from the football gods, they would have just got you back another way. So, I mean, it is what it is. It was a shitty way to start the season, but I mean, we'll get them next year in Orlando.
What do you like in this game?
I like the over. Florida's defense is fucking awful, and I think Florida State's going to be able to just run it up. I mean, what was the Miami score? I think it was like 45-3 or something like that. I think they're going to try to set the tone for Florida. I mean, both Miami and Florida are both under new regimes, and no one thought Mike Norvell would probably make it through this year with how he started his first 2 years, but he's got a chance to be state champs of Florida this year, and I think he's gonna this team's gonna give it all they got. End on 9-3. That'd be a great year for him. Build some momentum going into next year. And I just don't trust Florida's defense at all. They gave up points to A&M, which no one should ever do. I think they gave up more points than UMass
didn't give up
did.
30 though.
They didn't, but they gave up more than UMass, so that says enough. And they're going to be able to score. I mean, Anthony Richardson is always going to have explosive plays to get a total over. So if it's under 60, I like it. And it's official play over 58.
Yeah, not too much argue against there, and maybe Norvell kind of got the most short end of the stick here because his first 2 years were the 2 COVID years.
Yeah,
pretty 2 rough years to try to transition into a Florida State program that was left pretty barren as well. JD, you said you don't like much here, so give us your quick thoughts.
I would agree with Sam on the over. Florida's defense terrible, 102nd in success rate. Florida State offense is pretty good, 13th in success rate. That's a huge mismatch. Supposed to be some rain in the forecast, maybe, but no winds. I'm not that worried about it. Florida State's going to run the hell out of the ball. Huge weakness with Florida all year has been that, and that's not going to change here. Definitely not going to change. As far as Florida's offense, they're actually not bad. They rely on big plays, which I don't really like relying on for an over. But they're first in explosiveness in the country, 86 in success rate. That's a huge dichotomy. You're not really going to see that very often. That's what happens when Anthony Richardson's your quarterback. Okay, he's got a gun, he's got a cannon, he can run, but
he's got a cannon. He just has no touch.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck catching that cannon
or brain.
Yeah. So
or brain for that matter.
All that being said, this is a spot where actually I think the number is a little bit wide. I would look towards Florida, but I've made it this far without betting Florida in 2022, and I like to actually keep it that way. So I prefer the over.
Damn. Well, you'll just have to make it through a bowl game then, JD. Just don't watch or pretend that one exists because I don't know where they're potentially going to get drawn at this rate. But Roddy,
I'd have to hear the freaking scouts chiming in every 5 seconds. I love his arm. Look at his arm. And
the
I'm
measurables, the traits.
God no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Bryce Perkins starting Rams QB. Could Anthony Richardson really be that much worse?
I mean, Roddy was calling for A-Rich to be Giants starting quarterback next year, so
I did call for that. If Daboll is the quarterback whisperer, there's no better person to get it out of him than a person who, would fit the system. Or it could be an awful disaster. It'll be either one, though. But in terms of this game, okay, look, I'm here JD said he's made it all year without betting on Florida. I will die for the Georgia Bulldogs, and this is about to be my third week in a fucking row betting on them. Okay, I understand they just lost to the Nerds at Vandy. Okay, I know the fact that Vanderbilt having a 2-game SEC winning streak sounds very insane, just based off what has gone on in our lifetimes.
Potential
okay?
bowl bound.
Potential bowl bound Vanderbilt Commodores as well, which on Saturday, y'all be sure to be tuned in on Saturday. I don't feel crazy today, but I might feel a little crazy on Saturday. But
I'm
anyway,
feeling nuts. I'm ready to get nuts already.
I might feel a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? But with Florida State, I love how they have bounced back, obviously from the pits of embarrassment. And 9-3 would be a great season for them, like one of you guys said. But I mean, the last 4 weeks, ULL or ULM, Louisiana Monroe, Syracuse, Miami, and the Nerds haven't really played anybody since Clemson. And you also have a close loss to NC State on here, and you got a loss to Wake Forest on here, who wasn't looking the greatest, and a dogfight with Louisville too. So Florida State hasn't shown me a bunch where I can sit here and say Florida's been so bad that, you know what I'm saying, Florida State's obviously just going to take it. I would go with the 9.5. It is an official play. Please don't embarrass me, because I won't do it again next year. Please don't embarrass me. Please.
Goose, who wins this big recruiting battle matchup here? Oh,
Florida.
you're going with the Hungry Gator.
Yeah, look, Roddy just hit the points right out of my mouth. Florida State has looked great the last 4 weeks against like Miami and Syracuse. Like, all right. And when they played their 3 ranked teams in a row, they lost them all. Now, Florida, they lost to Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt is hot. So, like, is it really that bad of a loss? They got a
Yes.
2-game win streak.
Yes,
It's gonna
it
be a
is.
3-game
Yes.
win. Like, is it?
No,
That's right.
yes,
They're kind of
no,
hot.
It's awful.
They're kind of hot. They looked
Awful.
They look other than the weird interception Anthony Richardson threw when he was getting sacked, and he was just like, "Fuck it, I'll just throw it anyway." They played pretty good. They
That's
played
what I'm
pretty good.
saying.
They're playing competent football for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah, the standards are
Congratulations.
low though, Goose. The standards are very, very low.
Well, no, Clark Lee said they'll be in their championship contenders at the beginning of the year, so they're probably below their standards for this year.
Yeah, and I'm sure his kids want Christmas gifts too, so he's gonna keep saying that.
And who just said like a game or two ago the ACC is down this year?
I
Yeah,
told
exactly.
you, like, every team in the ACC has been gross, like purely gross.
So just the fact that it's a pretty good ACC team versus a pretty average SEC team, I'm taking the SEC team. 9.5 just feels too much. I'm liking Florida. I'm probably gonna play the money line also.
I like it. I like it. So we're about to get to the best bets. There's something I gotta say to that, Goose. Then, to that analogy, does that mean the Pac-12 is better than the Big Ten at football? Since
The
they
Big
have
Ten's not
6
good this
ranked
year.
teams and the Big Ten has 3.
The Big Ten outside of Ohio State, I don't even think Michigan's that good to be no number 3 team. I said that earlier in the season. I'm surprised Penn State is this good, but
Penn State's been on fire.
Big Ten's
since
4
the
out of 5 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Big Ten. Yeah, they're the Pac-12's the second best conference I think this year.
That gotta make JD happy, Goose. I don't know how correct that is either. I just wanted to play devil's advocate against your argument here.
They're 2 or 3.
They got a team at 5 too.
They're about to look a little bit worse when they have that out of conference game at their home stadium this weekend, and their playoff hopeful gets smacked in the face. But good year for the Pac-12. So
There we go. There we go.
Well,
it on
JD,
the
since you won't be making us for the Saturday episode, if we missed one of the games you're expecting us, because we'll be back at you live at our usual time on 10:30 on Saturdays, but we're going to run through our full card since we didn't talk the directional Michigan matchup, the Arizona matchup. So maybe we'll have bets on those. Drop any last questions into the chat so we can hit them. But JD, as usual, where are you going to be writing? What's featured? What do you want to give out? All that good stuff.
I got a few good games. I'm writing up the Iron Bowl here in a second.
Ooh,
Looking forward to that one for sure.
yeah.
Other than that, yeah, check my stuff out on Covers. It'll be coming out, getting it in early this week. But yeah, won't be here Saturday. Hopefully, I'm going to make it to the Notre Dame USC game. I don't know if I will though. So I'm just going to say Notre Dame better win that one, because if not, I'll be sad. So go Irish. I think you take them on the money line. This is a team that almost lost to Oregon State. So not a big fan of that. So I'm going to be playing Notre Dame. I'm playing the money line because, I'm biased there. So I'll also be playing NC State plus 6.5. Feels ugly. I'm taking it. Egg Bowl. I need action. Give me Mississippi State. Okay, plus 2.5. Give me the over. 59. No official play on the Tulane game for me. And no official game on the Florida, but I like Sam's over. And you guys almost talked me into a Florida bet there, so we'll see if I end up there. But that's what I'm on this week.
Stay strong.
Hey,
Stay
telling you.
CVS
Telling you.
Sam. I know we're going to be dabbling it up into 2 trips this week. Do we got a nice receipt for the Friday slate? Because you're the only person I know that's going to be working so far.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they let us out at noon like they did last year. We're trying to organize like it, even if they don't, like maybe
Company
a group
walkout.
walkout. Yeah, like a walkout for the USA England game. I know it may not be the best game, but still, like just going to drink and watch it with everybody at work. That'd be fun. But yeah, we got 5 plays before Saturday. That usually never happens. So we covered most of them already. Cincinnati -2, Baylor +9, Florida State over 58, and UNC -6.5, and then one other one, UCLA -10. This number feels a little short for me. I know like their Pac-12 championship hopes got dashed, but still a good year for them. And I don't think Cal is good enough to stay within 10 points. I know it's probably a rivalry game out there, but I think they were up high for that Stanford game. I know that's a much more prevalent rivalry for Cal out there. So, yeah, give me UCLA -10. I think they'll be able to control the line of scrimmage and control the clock in this one and get out of there with like 17-point win.
This will be the last time on any stream I mention that fucking L I took on the under 46.
A national.
On that Cal Stanford game, man.
60-yard field goal, baby. It's good.
It got me
makes you go
real
back.
ready. I mean, I've already taken a beat or two like that in college basketball season, the meaningless 3. It got me real ready because other than Vegas, damn, man, a 60-yarder, I was like, he don't got it. And then I saw it and just started walking away from the TV. Roddy, what do you got here?
Oh, bro, when I saw that on Twitter, bro, I was like, damn, bro. I remember Rex said something about this shit today, too. I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
I
I
was
hope
too
he didn't
scared
take
to play
over.
that 4.5, so everyone to play the lean cash because leans are undefeated.
Yeah, look, man, look. You got to invest next time in the lean cash, my boy. But we're going over in the Egg Bowl. Again, defense is going to be very optional. A lot of hopefully turkey and a lot of fried foods, obviously, in Mississippi for them boys. So hopefully that slows down the defensive effort. Florida 9.5. It's nasty. It's the 3rd week in a row. Just don't embarrass me, please. You lost to the Nerds last week. And then I have a sleeper and a game we didn't talk about that maybe JD might have been a little bit more excited about. The Hogs going to Columbia. I got under 29.5 points for the Hogs. Now, I do understand that the Ole Miss game last week was just like they had 21 points in the middle of the second quarter. Okay, so that just shows you where that was going. I don't think the offensive output is going to be the same. Again, I'm still going to bank on Missouri's defense. The only reason they got sledded out by Tennessee is because they felt the way that we did them the worst way a week before. So I still think this Mizzou defense has great players on it, and I think that they keep it under 30 points. So that'll be my last play is Arkansas team total under 29.5, -110.
We're so close to hitting every game on the board for Friday. Goose, what do you have on your card?
I got 4 dogs.
Ooh.
Mississippi State +2.5, Baylor +9, Florida +9.5, and I'm going Wyoming +15 playing Boise State at like 10:30 p.m. Sorry, they're playing Fresno State. They're playing Fresno State. Wyoming. Wyoming doesn't throw the ball. They're gonna run the ball like every play, like a military academy. And I don't think Fresno State's gonna be able to slow them down. I think Wyoming keeps this one close. They're about 5-2 in the conference. Fresno State is 6-1 in the conference, so they're both good in the conference. I think 15 is too much. The total is only 50.5, so small total, high spread. Give me Wyoming plus 15.
All right, so I had Ole Miss -2, -110. Tulane on the money line +110, and then UNC, NC State over 56 -110. Boy, oh boy, did I try to get a play on that Nebraska-Iowa game. Total sitting at 38.5. Not subjecting to sit myself through that one, nor am I trying to sweat out an Arizona State game after watching what Arizona did last week, where how many fourth down conversions did they fail in their first 4 possessions? I think it was 3 or 4. Got into the territory each time, went for the dub. Can't hate that coaching mentality, but when you convert 1 or 0 of them, you ain't going to pull out the W there. Roddy, is the under team total Arkansas thinking you think Missouri becomes bowl bound?
That and I just really think they come up. They're like Mississippi State, like they just play really way better at home, and like they seem like they have a pulse at the crib. Away from the crib, it's like you could get them, a mixed bag. But again, I like KJ was throwing the wide open dudes last week, like, and they just ran them. They just ran it down their throats, and I think Missouri's D line is not going to allow that. So I really don't think I don't think this game goes over either. I think this is definitely under spot too.
Yeah, just wanted to mention that one just because that's really the last marquee note we didn't hit on. Not too much action, and then if you're betting on New Mexico versus Colorado State, you might actually have to call that phone number.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't really say that many
JD
times.
likes to side in that one.
Torrey Horton is going to go nuts, baby.
Yeah.
Torrey Horton, wide receiver. He's going to go nuts. Lock and load him in fantasy. I swear to God, this dude's going to go for
What team? What team?
Colorado State.
What team?
It's a good question.
Oh man!
Just put Morocco money line in the comments.
I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to sweat that. Early again in Qatar. We appreciate everyone tapping in. Got this done right under an hour. We'll be coming back at you live on Saturday for the full Saturday slate, so it doesn't matter what time you tapped in. You got plenty of time to lock in the winners. The ticker goes at the bottom, so hop to the 5 marquee games in the tweet at Pay for Play that we covered in that order, and then we gave out our full cards for that Friday. Like, retweet, follow, sub. We'll be live on Thanksgiving for Daily Bread, live tomorrow for the World Cup and all that good stuff. Make sure you're following along.
Top and Roddy's space.
After this also. Space after this. Yeah, space right after this.
CFP react.